everybody? Welcome back to the Fin Factor. I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
This is episode number 185. Now, Aaron, before we even start talking Sharks, I want to address something that you had to deal with a little bit today. I don't know if you want to address it, but I'm going to do it right now. Our title says Sharks winless, Hertl upset. Now, some people thought that this was a clickbait title, that it made it sound like Hertl was upset because the Sharks were winless. And really, there's a better explanation. And I think I want to give you the opportunity to let people know why the title seems like it might be clickbait.
Sure. There's only so much room we can put in the title. So I can't add as much as I want to. Otherwise, it's basically like a Tomas Hertl rambling of him going off, and it wouldn't make any sense, and you wouldn't be able to read it or see it. So I was limited by characters.
So for the people who think we're looking for that extra few more views, no, that's not the case. It's just that you're supposed to see it as two separate things. The Sharks are winless. Also, Hertl was upset, and it has nothing to do with the two being together there. There's a comma.
Also, you could read the description and see what he was upset about. There's more explanation down below, but whatever.
Oh, I just wanted to address that and get out of the way. We are not the type to go clickbait titling things. It's just we're limited by the technology of our time. So.
Oh, I can't lie. It was, a lot last, month.
Give him any opportunity to use that. I promise you. Super Genius is coming in with that one.
The full title is Hertl's upset about gas prices.
Nice, Kellen. Thank you so much. Looks like Noah said cue the Hertl video. Well done. Yes, absolutely, Zach Croft saying Hertl has a point, though. No one is helping out Blackwood. Absolutely. And that is the thing that Hertl was upset about. Not the fact that the Sharks are winless, but that nobody stood up to Mackenzie Blackwood.
I'm sure he's not happy.
Mackenzie Blackwood, I should say. What's that?
I'm sure he's not happy the Sharks are winless.
Well, but that's, again, we're not trying to clickbait anybody and saying this is the reason. Now, we will get to that, Zach Croft. We will get to that. So, I think for now, though, Aaron, let's go ahead and just jump straight into the Carolina game, which happened 2 games prior to that event that we're talking about. So the Sharks play Carolina. Actually, it was a very good game, I thought, up until about the second period, the end of the second period, I think is what it was. But, again, the Sharks are doing kind of what we were hoping the Sharks were going to do, which was be kind of entertaining here and there, but also pick up losses so that we can get to the best draft pick possible. Now, looking at this game, though, Aaron, there's a couple names that come out, and both of them have a Z in it. Zetterlund with his first goal as a Shark. Did you see this one? I know you said it's a beaut, so you want to describe this one for the people?
Well, I think on the play, Zetterlund's stick broke, and so he went to the bench to get a new stick, and then that put him kind of ahead of everyone else. So he was behind the defense of Carolina. So when he got his new stick and skated, the Sharks had the puck, and they looked up and they threw a stretch past to him, and he got a breakaway. So he gets a breakaway, and he finally scores a goal because he had so many chances the last 2-3 games before that. So it was nice for Zetterlund to finally get on the score sheet. That's his first Shark goal. And he came in from the trade for Timo Meier. So it's good to see, something happening, because this is a very young, still, I would say almost a prospect, borderline, not really a prospect, but a guy who should be in their starting lineup. But someone who could eventually be a 15 goal scorer, I think, in the NHL, maybe slightly more, but good to see him get going and finally get the monkey off of his back, which there are several other Sharks with the same situation. But I thought it was a pretty good goal. I think he sniped this one into the corner pretty quickly. So it was really cool. Really good to see.
The other Z that we were talking about there, Zadina. Now you've got him down here with the wicked wrister. Now, Aaron, he's we said this before. He was the highest draft pick player currently playing for the Sharks, albeit not a draft pick of the Sharks. But is he also just the best forward that the Sharks, maybe even the best player that the Sharks have right now?
I would say the most skilled player. That's probably the best way to say it. I think he's the most skilled. Skilled and best is not always the same, though. So right now, I would say Hertl's probably one of the best players that the Sharks have right now. In fact, he's leading the team in scoring. So not goal scoring, but just overall points. So I think his shot though is pretty good, and his vision, like he's a very highly skilled player, and he's still coming into his own. He's only 23 years old, so it's still pretty young, even though it feels like he's been in the league for a long time. So it's good to see. He snapped this wrister. I said wicked wrister and the notes. He put it right over the pad, and it was kind of like pinched, I think, over the pad and under the glove of the Carolina goalie. So I thought it was a really good goal scorer's goal on the power play too. So good for him to get his second of the season now.
Glad to see, unlike some of the other guys that we got as reclamation projects, as we'll talk about some of them later on. But glad to see that the gamble here with Zadina seems to be paying off. Now, again, very early in the season, he's got 2 goals. Great. That can dry up real quick, especially on the team that doesn't have a whole lot of supporting cast around him. So, again, fingers crossed. But again, it seems like Greer might have got this one right. So kudos to my Greer on that one, at least so far. Now you got Eklund here, his first goal of the year. This one happened in the game against, again, Burnsy playing in Carolina. Kind of nice to have that little bit of reunion. I guess Burnsy did a dinner or lunch or something like that with a couple of the guys, which is nice, but that's beside the point. Anyway, Eklund, like I said, he gets first goal of the year. Nice to get this guy kind of chugging and moving. We've seen him with the puck. We've seen him with some nice passing and everything else. Good for the young guy to get a goal, though.
Yeah, and it's his first point, too. He doesn't even have an assist on the season. So good to get him going, because I think he's going to be one of the core players of the Sharks. So we start to see him pick it up and start contributing more to the team, at least offensively. It's good to see. And again, another monkey off their back. Now, the Sharks have Filip Zadina is leading the team with 2 goals. 2. We'll talk about this in a little bit, but Zetterlund, Hertl, Bordeleau, Duclair, and Eklund all have 1. Nobody else has anything. So someone's got to score the goals, right? Somebody's got to step up.
It depends on how you're looking at this season, Aaron. We're sitting pretty right now.
It's pretty brutal. Someone in our fantasy league just sent a message out earlier saying Alex DeBrincat has more goals than the Sharks on the season right now. Just not good. He already has 2 hat tricks on the season, which he's on my fantasy team. So it's a big win for you.
I mean, after a couple of games, I can definitely see us getting 68 losses, though, not points.
68 losses would be
68 losses would be pretty epic. Thank you, Ben, for that comment. Zach, hold that thought, buddy. He says Mike Hoffman is due for a goal. We'll be talking about that a little bit later on. And then let's see here. We got the Sharks up 3-2 going into the third here, and Carolina explodes. 4 goals in a 6-minute span. Aaron, what's your feeling on this? Did the team just give up?
Some of the goals were legit. Some of them I think were a little bit on the softer side. Some of them is just dumb puck luck. Like one that I think 2 goals of those 4 were tipped off of the Sharks defenseman and in where Blackwood didn't really have a chance. So it's just terrible luck in a way. But also you create your own luck. Yeah, you're going to have some bad bounces go against you, but you create your own luck by working hard. And to me, the Sharks kind of, once again, did not play a full 60-minute game, and they looked pretty deflated after, they finally have a lead in a game and they blow it. So I think it's deflating. So the Sharks really need to, if they're going to get a win this season, buckle down once they get a lead, because they're not going to be the team that's going to score 4 or 5 goals in a game. It's just not going to happen. They're not that offensively talented. So to win a game, they have to really buckle down on defense and limit the chances, which they have not been doing. Look at the shots against in every game. It's pathetic. The goalies are just getting shellacked every night. So it sucks. I thought they played well going into that third period and then just completely melted down. And then everyone's like, oh, yep, there's the Sharks of 2023. That's what the season's going to be like. So it was pretty brutal. It sucks. I feel bad for them, I feel bad for the team because it's I don't want to say it's a losing culture, But last year they started 0-5. This year they're 0-4-1. Close enough. They got one more point than last year. It just sucks, man. It sucks. It's going to suck.
We just stunk. We stunk.
Pretty much. That's going to be the quote of the season.
Yeah. I'm so glad that we did that clip, by the way. So Aaron, you had mentioned that the team needs to be better defensively. We need to kind of lock it down much better. But there's other ways to win games, right? Score more goals. And one of the ways you do that is you capitalize on the power play, Aaron. And we've got a note here about the power play. And you're saying that you don't like the 5-forward power play. I have to say that I agree with you on that one. But in order for there to not be a 5-forward power play, there must be an offensively minded defenseman. And I'm hoping super producer Jason is ready. Do we have an offensively minded defenseman in mind?
A warrior may retreat, he does not flee.
But they sent him down.
They did. I don't disagree with their decision.
I don't even want to talk to you anymore.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I know super producer Jason spent all this time putting that graphic together, and then we might not even use it because he got sent to the AHL. But I think for me, Thrun is going to thrive more down at the AHL level with the CUDA than he is with the Sharks, only because he's going to get way more ice time. He's going to be the man at the Barracuda level, where he's going to have, power play, probably penalty kill, 25 minutes a night. He's just going to kill it. And then once he gets that, once he dominates that, then it's ready for him to come up to the NHL. Then I think that confidence will carry over, which is pretty much what Mike Grier wants for all of these young prospects, to what he calls overcooking. You're overcooking at the lower levels so that when you come into the NHL, you are more than ready and you have confidence and you start producing right away. So I don't disagree with this decision. Plus, he is allowed to be sent down without going through waivers, so it also makes sense. And a Hoychuk is coming in. I don't know if you saw that. He's currently in a conditioning stint at the AHL level, but he's going to be coming in. I'm excited to see what he can do, because I have not seen him play at all. And I've seen a lot of people online on Twitter and Reddit that are excited to see. They were excited last year, saying how good he was at the even lower levels of that was it junior hockey, and that he's going to surprise some people. So I'm excited to see what he can bring, and probably get maybe a cup of coffee at the NHL level and see what he can do from there. But I don't know. Knizhov also filled in for that spot, and he came back from injury. So it was Thrun just didn't have space, and it's better for Thrun to get 20 plus minutes a night being the man than 14, 15 minutes a night at the NHL level and not really getting a lot other than power play time. That's my thoughts. Sorry to burst your bubble.
Like, fair enough. Fine. But no, Thrun is awesome. And I like him a lot. Almost as much as Matt Benning. Yes. Noah Claxton says Matt Benning is our man on the point in the power play. I would disagree with you. I mean, who else? Really? Who else?
Knizhov is pretty much
Knizhov is the next best one.
I think that's probably the next best.
If not Ferraro.
Yeah, I don't even think Ferraro's as good as Knizhov is offensively.
Offensively, I would agree with you on that one.
I would say Vlasic over Ferraro offensively.
I'm sorry?
Well, Vlasic used to power play the second power play for a while when it was just Burns before Carlson came in. And then when Carlson was there, he would get, the scraps of the 15 seconds that Carlson would be off the ice for the power play at the end of the power play. I don't know. I think he has a little bit more simple skill of getting the puck to the net.
I think simple at this point in his career is probably the right word to use. CJ, nice comment here. Great show, great content. I love the producing and commentary. I look forward to you guys' show every week. Just wanted to give you all some flowers. Oh, thank you, CJ. I do appreciate that. But wasn't CJ the one that said he was going to go to bed? I could have sworn that was him.
Couldn't do it. He's too enthralled in our show.
Got hooked. That's how we do it, buddy. We don't need clickbait.
All right, Noah. That does sound like something the Sharks would do, run Vlasic a power play quarterback. I'm not saying they should. That's not what I'm saying. I was doing more of the pecking order of who is left without Thrun. That's all I'm saying. And I would say Vlasic over Ferraro. That's it. And
I'm going to disagree with you wholeheartedly on that.
I'm saying Knizhov, to me, is the best bet.
Okay. Knizhov and Benning, we would say, right?
Right.
Okay. And then after that, you've got Vlasic
and Ferraro. Yeah.
Oh, man. Yeah. If that's our best option, I think we're in much more trouble than I thought we were this season. And
that's what's said.
I thought we weren't even going to get to 68 points.
That's our best option. That's my point. It's not good.
Blackwood, you like the way he looked in this game despite the 6-3 loss. So yeah, tell me a little bit about Mackenzie Blackwood. Obviously, we saw. Was that?
Oh, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. I was saying, obviously, we saw what he could do in his first game this season, and then of course everybody's expecting that he's going to have like a 98 save percentage every game, which just is not sustainable, clearly. But you like this guy, and I do too. So go ahead, fire away. What do you think about him looking good in a game where they lose 6-3?
I think he looks sharp. I think his positioning is great. I think his reactions are incredible. He's had a couple saves. I mean, just in this Carolina game alone, there's probably at least 2, maybe 3, where you see the forward blown away. The Carolina forward blown away that they did not score a goal. To me, that is a good sign for your goalie that he's making them think twice about shooting again. But I think he's made some amazing game-breaking saves. Had he been on a Sharks team 5 years ago, they would have gone a long way. But he's on a team where he's going to be getting a lot of rubber, so he's going to get a lot of practice in. He is on a 2-year deal, so I don't think the Sharks would trade him this season, but I wouldn't be shocked if they did. I would rather see them hold on to him because right now I think he's the best option they have in goal, including their whole system, and he's not that old, so I could see him sticking around, or I would like him to stick around. I think it was funny because when the Sharks traded for him, I think all the New Jersey fans were kind of clapping back and laughing, saying, good luck, have fun with Blackwood, he's terrible. He just had some injuries and some bad luck, so I think getting him back on track, and he's looking like a legit, very good goalie in this league. I wouldn't say he's a top 5, but I could see him top 10 starter in this league, which is pretty good. If he was on a better team, he would be definitely in the top 10 because he's on the Sharks. He's a little bit less, but he's still over a 900 save percentage on the Sharks on this terrible team. That's pretty good. Martin Jones couldn't even get over 900 on a very good team. I'll say that. So I know the bar is very low for us Sharks fans for the goaltending and the save percentage, but Blackwood so far has seemed pretty legit. I'm happy with the decision that the Sharks went after him.
Before we move on, just want to make sure everybody understands the opportunity here to help support the show. If you'd like to do that, there is a super chat function, and as well as the Venmo. You can go at the Fin Factor. Any comment you put in either one of those, if we see it, we'll go ahead and call it out here live on the show, and we will address it immediately. Also, if you'd like to support the show but get something back in return, you can go to the merch part of our store there, the finfactor.com, and take a look. And you got hats and water bottles. I did it this time, and sweatshirts and all kinds of other stuff that are over there. So if you'd like to do that, please feel free to support the show that way as well. Do appreciate it. One of the best things you guys do, honestly, share. So if it's I was about to say Twitter, but it's X now. So if you want to re-X the X, what's it called now?
X.
Repost. Just Xing? Repost. If you'd like to repost on X, it'd be excellent. And sharing on Facebook, all the things. Get us out to your Sharks friends and family, because if you're enjoying the show, they probably will as well. So thank you guys so much. I appreciate your support. Aaron, the Sharks play Boston, and we kind of figured this is how this one was going to go as well. A 3-1 loss, not nearly as bad by the numbers, I guess you could say. Now, you have a note here about Marchand. I don't know why we're talking about Boston players, quite frankly, but go ahead. What did you want to say about Marchand?
That goal, if you go back and look at that goal, I can't remember who he doodled. He kind of turns some guy inside out, takes a shot, and just kind of he picks a corner, man. Like it was like, wow, like you have to give it to him. That was a really good goal. It's a very highly skilled player doing a very highly skilled move and shot. You're not going to be able to stop everything. I thought that was like, you can't really blame anyone on that one. I thought it was great. The follow-up goal is what kills me when you give up, because that goal was like 2 minutes before the period was over. Still a dagger. Like you're about to go in the period down or tied 0-0. You know, it's kind of a good, you can build some momentum and get going. And then they score a goal and you're like, oh, fine. All right. You're down by 1. And then they score it immediately after that. That one was brutal. The second one was brutal. So I just wanted to talk about the first goal, not really avoidable, if you will. The second one, definitely avoidable. And for a while, I didn't realize this, but we're going to talk about it. I thought the Sharks coaching staff should have reviewed this because I thought it was kind of, I'm trying to think of a nice way to say it, not the correct way a goal could have been scored. I want to say something else about that. But I thought the coaching staff should have reviewed this or thrown a challenge, right? And had the referees look at this. I was also kind of upset that, you know, Toronto didn't take a look at this and say, hey, you know, let's slow down and make sure this is a legit goal. But there is an explanation, which I think you have little to talk about here.
Well, I mean, not really. Quinn's going to do the talking. It's actually a really short clip, but yeah, actually what we'll do, this is Coach Quinn after the game with the media scrum kind of explaining. He was asked like, hey, how come you didn't, you know, challenge that? What did you see that, you know, made you not want to challenge it? And so this is Coach Quinn responding to that question with his answer. So go ahead, Super Producer Jason.
It was the right call. Cody and Nick right away said it's a good goal. And then, you know, they spent a lot of time watching the goals that go to review and touched the puck first and pushed his pad. And we've already checked with the league, and if we had challenged it, we would have lost.
So not a missed call, nothing that they didn't see, none of that kind of thing. They saw exactly what happened. And based on the feedback that they were given right after the goal was scored, it was the explanation was simply that the puck was not covered at the time, right? If the puck is under the pad and they're like jamming at the pad and it goes, okay, fine, puck's covered. If the puck's not covered, which it wasn't, it was sitting out, they're still able to whack away at it. And the fact that they hit the puck into the pad, that's what shoved it in. That's what they're saying. It's a good goal. So while we may not agree with the ruling, that is the rule. And so that's why he didn't bother challenging it, because you get a penalty and everything too. So he's just like, you know what? That they're telling me that this is a good goal. And I guess after the fact, they found out that, yeah, from the league, that if they had challenged it, they would have lost that challenge. So Aaron, I don't really like this. I don't like that you can have the puck as a buffer between the pad and the stick and just shove, and that's okay. I think a goal ought to go in on a shot more than a shoving motion where you push the goaltender, even if the puck is in between the stick and the pad. Yeah. I don't think you should be able to shove a goalie in to get a goal, but I don't know.
I agree. I think the rule, they played it by the rule and it was a goal. I don't like the rule, and I think that's kind of bunk and should be changed. I don't know, like, the league's not going to change that rule based on this one play, but imagine that kind of goal scored in the playoffs against the home team, how the fans would react to that and the kind of flack that they would be getting, especially if it was in a original 6 team. So imagine it was going the other way and the Sharks scored on Boston, right? Like, it just, I think it would have been a bigger deal, but because it was scored on the Sharks and a small market team on a terrible team, nobody's going to care. So that kind of sucks too. But I don't like the way, exactly what you just said. I think it's lame. It should be a shot. You should be able to push it in. I think you might see more scrums like that where people just shove their sticks in. I don't know. I watched that play over and over and I was like, how is that a goal? But now I understand it because he didn't have it covered. If he had his pad on top of it or his stick or his glove or anything, I guess that's why Dominic Hasek would just drop his stick and pick up the puck, right? Like, plays over. I have the puck in my hand. I don't know. I don't like it.
No soup for you.
I don't like it, but I understand it. Now I understand it afterwards. I didn't understand it during the game. I was so upset.
But you said that they're probably not going to change the ruling because it's the Sharks. Well, that's not true. They've changed the rules a couple times based on the Sharks, if you recall.
Against the Sharks. Against the Sharks. That's different. If
Chasing the Horizon says the goalie should hold the line. I think you're correct. However, there's also very big, strong human beings that are shoving you across a very slick surface to which you don't have much other than the blade of your skate to keep you from sliding. So unless you're on your blade, which he was, and he was down. It's pretty easy to shove somebody across the ice like that. So
I think that can cause an injury too, because you have the goalie at that point with their foot extended out. They're not going to get any grip with their skate because their foot is completely sideways. You can see like a groin injury because they're kicking forward while they're pushing back against your leg, and it's strength on strength, and that's just an awkward position. I don't like it. I don't think it's a dangerous play to me. Like, not just lame for goal scoring, but I think it's a dangerous play.
There's another question here from Peter St. John's. My question is, why didn't any Shark play the body and clear those buggers away from the puck? Now, before we kind of address that, there's an incident in the next game that directly ties into this, I think. So maybe we'll kind of save that for just the next little segment here. So hang on to that, Peter St. John. But I do think that maybe the answer is going to be that the Sharks need to toughen up a little bit, and we'll certainly get to that. So there you go. Now, Aaron, we had talked about Vlasic possibly being the power play quarterback. I don't even know really how to segue to this one, because Vlasic had one of the worst games of his career statistically, according to Sheng Peng, in the Boston game. But yeah, buddy, I don't know.
To be clear,
13 minutes of ice time. This is low for Vlasic.
I was not saying he should be the power play quarterback. That's not what I'm saying.
That hey, you clickbait titles and you try to.
I'm just saying he's number 3 in the pecking order, not number 4. That's it.
Just giving you a hard time. So you got Vlasic with 13 minutes of ice time. The Sharks get outshot 16-2 with 13 scoring chances against while he's on the ice. He also had 2 goals against of the 3. So there's more advanced stats that go into that, but we're not going to. Sheng, if you want to know all about that, please go check out Sheng Peng, San Jose Hockey Now. He does amazing work. The guy puts in a lot of hard work and a lot of time, much more than we do. So please give him a look.
Some of my favorite stuff he does on there is the breakdown of plays. He does a bunch of GIFs for like certain plays, and it's fantastic. And that's one of the main reasons I like subscribing, is those articles alone. He doesn't do them all the time, but those ones are really good.
So that's really the only thing I wanted to say about Vlasic here.
You just like to rub it in, huh?
No. That's the only thing I wanted to say about Vlasic here, because when we move on to the Nashville game, which would be right now, the very first thing I'm going to bring up is that Vlasic was benched halfway through the second period. Come on, man. You can't tell me Thrun is worse than this. Now, obviously, you can't move. He's got a no move clause, and this is one of the things I'm going to talk about now with Vlasic is you got 3 more years of this at $7 million a year. Now, again, from a certain point of view, it depends on how you're looking at the season. For me, this isn't a big problem because we're not trying to be that good anyway. He's actually helping, right? He's blocking better talent from coming in with the $7 million for the next 3 years. And he's having one of the worst seasons so far. It's certainly one of the worst games. So that's helping the Sharks get to where they ultimately need to get. But when we're talking about having an entertaining product somewhat still on the ice, this is not it, buddy. This is not it. For me, he is like the 7th defenseman that I would put on the power play. I'd put anybody else, and I'd make a forward a defenseman before I put him on the power play. I'd stick with the 5-man forward unit, frankly. But yeah, he can't be waived, right? He's got a no move clause. You can't bury him in the AHL. He's got a 3-team trade list, but he has zero value because he's playing horribly and he's $7 million contract. You can't buy him out because if you do, you're going to feel it for the next 6 years. Like what do you do with this guy?
You can only healthy scratch him, basically, right?
You can healthy scratch him and to get him out of your lineup, and that's fine.
That's what I mean.
Again, for me, you play the guy and you just take the L.
To me, this is why Thrun staying the AHL is better, because this season's a lost season. He's going to be playing at the NHL level. He's not going to do well. He's going to get exposed a lot, and he won't progress. I'm more worried about progression. Who cares about this season? Keep Vlasic playing. If you have Thrun in there and Vlasic's a healthy scratch, right? The Sharks will be what, 10% better? Like
sure,
season wise, for how many points they're going to get, it's negligible. Like it's pointless. So you might as well have Thrun progress and have more ice time at the AHL level. What?
I see what you did there. Pointless. Well done, buddy. You didn't even know you did it. Way to go. Proud of you.
We just stunk.
Oh my God. Yeah, actually, who was it that had said that earlier? It's probably Ben. Yeah, Ben says we just stunk is surprisingly can be the answer for most of if not all of our questions. Yeah, absolutely.
It's true.
Guys.
It's true. It's a great quote.
Yeah, it's okay. Hey, like I said, we can be a bad team points wise, right? And statistically, but still be somewhat entertaining to watch. And for me, that's kind of what it's been. There are moments of the game where I'm like, that's awesome. And then we just get railed, and that's okay. But again, I still think it's not a bad time to become a Sharks fan, because again, in a couple of years, all this young talent that we're now getting through trades and draft and everything else are going to come up. So I'm pleading with you guys, please check out the Sharks right now. Watch how bad they are. It's going to get better from here. The trajectory should be going up right after this season. We shall see.
I like to tell people it's like the Warriors from the late 2000s. Yeah. Right? They just get Steph Curry, but he's injured a lot, but he's going to be your core player, and you get some other pieces in there eventually, and look what happened. So that's kind of where I'm at.
All right. So Peter St. John, he says, this is tough. It's a results business, and Vlasic is not producing. The critique is totally valid, but we disregard his body of work. He's been a Warrior for us for almost 2 decades. Peter St. John, 100%. I agree. He's been, like you said, an absolute Warrior for us for as long as he's been on the team. However, you are right. This is a results-based business, and it's kind of, we talked about this before, Aaron. What have you done for me lately, right? And lately, we're talking about years now, not just the season, years now, where Vlasic has been a bit of a boat anchor. There were times where even I was saying, you know what? For another team to take on Vlasic's contract, if we were to cut that in half, right? 3.5 million. I think some teams would have taken 2 years ago Vlasic at 3.5, and then you do it again because you can do it twice. At one point, what was it, 7.5 or whatever it is? I think a team would be more than happy to have a Vlasic of a couple years ago at 1.75. At this point, though, I don't even know that anybody wants him for just under 2 mil. So even if we were to figure something out where we could, again, you'd have to send stuff the other way to get him off your roster, which, again, at this point just doesn't make any sense to do that. But I don't think anybody else would even want the guy, to be honest with you. So, yes, he's done a lot for us, but at some point, like, enough's enough. And I think right now he's probably not looking at retirement either. That's the weird thing is when you're this
too late.
When your numbers are this low, buddy, like just let it go, But I think he's just happy to get paid. So
look what Ben said. Give Pickles the games. He will be the one with the most games played for the Sharks, and that's something to look forward to these days. Play Vlasic, get the L's, give him the most games played for the Sharks award, and hopefully first overall pick. Pickles played with us since he was 18, and as of now, that's half his life, which is amazing. It's amazing how much this guy has played, and maybe not so much in the last season or two, but consistently he's been was a top shutdown defenseman in the league. And this what kind of irks me. He earned that contract big time. He was not getting paid early on in his career. Sorry, not season, but in his career, where he should have been paid one of the top shutdown defensemen in the league. It's just the way it kind of works. You have to prove it, then you get paid, and then you stink because you're old. And that's the stage he's at right now. So I don't mind his contract. Yeah, it sucks that it's kind of an anchor, but it is what it is. And you should see how many other teams are up against the cap. You know what teams are doing this season? Because they're all so many up against the cap. They're dressing 21 players instead of, or what 23. Is it? 23.
23. Yeah.
22 instead of 23 players. So they leave one player out so that they can get an extra $100,000 for one game, dressing one player less for one game so that they can call somebody up from the minors. The Sharks are not in that position, which is great. I think the Sharks are going to utilize that cap space that they have at the trade deadline because so many teams are so stuck right now. The only way I can see Vlasic getting moved, sure, he has a 3-team no trade clause or whatever, he has to submit 3 teams. That's not a big deal. Like, think about any team Vlasic goes to is going to be better than the Sharks at this point.
Sure,
because the Sharks are so bad. So the only way I would see him getting moved is for another bad contract from the other team, swapping him basically. Could happen. You never know. Maybe the Sharks retain some salary and then take the full bad contract back from the other team, so that gives them some relief. And then Vlasic can provide. I think he would be a good depth 7th defenseman on a good team. Someone gets hurt, you can plug him in as your bottom pairing guy and not have to worry that it's some rookie. So I don't know. I mean, it could be his motivation's just not there either because the Sharks have been terrible. So he's not as motivated to go all out every night compared to a team where there's a lot more on the line. I don't know.
We just stunk.
I'm just spitballing.
So Peter St. John says Vlasic has 2 Olympic gold medals for Team Canada. There's a reason he was chosen for Team Canada. 100%. But just like Nolan Voigt underneath you says, that was then. That was then. I mean, it's great that he's done that. It's great. All the things that he's accomplished in his career. I just wish that he would let his career die at this point. I think is really what I'm getting at, man. You've done it. You won. You won, buddy. You did it. Congrats. You have an amazing career. Half your life you spent playing professional hockey. You didn't win a cup. Oh, well. But you know what? Everything else, you've been amazing. Great job. Can we get out of the last couple of years of the contract? But Ben and Gunsry, again, from a certain point of view, he says he's still producing guys. We're going for first overall, right?
Be directly tied back to Vlasic getting that first overall pick.
Ben, I'm telling you, you are a glass half full kind of guy. Appreciate you, buddy.
You're very welcome here.
All right, I think that's enough hounding on Vlasic. I like what he's done for us. I just don't like what he's doing. So there you go.
I don't really care because the season's lost. So whatever.
Again, fair enough. But if the season's not going to be lost for the next season and the next season after that, if we've got guys that are kind of coming up and can take that spot, just kind of sucks that we've got a $7 million boat anchor in the way.
I'm not worried.
Just saying.
Not worried.
Anyway, now this is the part that was controversial in the title here, Aaron. Hertl was upset. He's upset at Vlasic's horrible contract. That's what it is, right? Clickbait. No, I'm just kidding. There's no speculation here. Anyway, what we're saying is he was upset about the lack of reaction by the Sharks when Forsberg slammed on top of Blackwood. And you say slam, we're talking about body slam. Now, I saw something that maybe some other folks didn't see, which is okay. But we do have a clip here, and I think we'll go ahead and start off with the clip. Did you want to set this up a certain way?
Sure. This is the clip is going to be about Hertl after the game talking about the play. So to set up the play for those who didn't see it, Blackwood makes the save. He's laying kind of down on the ice, like stretched out on his belly. And Forsberg kind of comes in and falls on top of him and lands on him, kind of rolls off of him a little bit. And nobody did anything. No Sharks got in his face, got mad at him, nothing. So it was kind of a weird play to begin with, but also I don't think he was doing it on purpose. He wasn't trying to hurt him, but that's not the point. And that sets up this clip of Hertl talking about that after the game.
Don't last 10 minutes, because we just let Blackie alone, he's on the back, we have to just be there more together, step it up. If it's 5-1, you have to cross-check somebody and show them that they can do anything. But I'm more mad about the game, just about the last couple of minutes, because we just let our goalie alone and we don't show anything. We have to show them they can do it to us, and at least play hard, around the net. But yeah, it's like just can't happen, especially the last 5 minutes. Like nobody cares if anybody take extra 2 minutes, and I think the locker room is great, but everything, but that's like, especially, to our goalies, I think they stand on our head for us. They play both really well, and we have to show them we there for them. So we have to just be ready and show the other teams they can do anything. And even after that, we have so many rebounds. They have so many rebounds. Just let them play, and we just left Blackie alone. And I don't like it. For sure, I was mad about that. And for next time, we have to change. We have great group here. I know everybody, I think, know what's supposed to be do, but this can happen. We have to show in front of the net. Nobody can do anything to our goalies.
I know. I love Hertl. That was one really long sentence of him. That's, to me, I think I'm speculating here, but I think they went into that locker room and I think Quinn ripped them a new one, all of them, for not standing up for Blackwood. I'm not saying that Hertl didn't think those thoughts before, but I think the message was sent, and I don't think we will see anything like that happen again this entire season. What do you think?
For the rest of the season, probably not. No. I think it was pretty obvious that both Hertl and Quinn talked to the media afterwards as well. And he says that will be addressed, right? So I think for sure you're not going to see that happening, whether it's intentional or not. Now, for me, I'm with you. I don't think it was an intentional thing, because the clip that I saw was, and it was a weird one too, because so the first guy comes through the net and actually kind of clips Blackwood's head going through the paint, and I think that's what made him fall back, and his stick dropped. Forsberg comes in, and it's like he picked up his, I want to say his left leg. I think he picked up his left leg for some reason. It was weird, and he's on one leg on his right. I think he was just trying to avoid him kind of, and he ends up skating over the stick with his right leg and kind of trips and kind of goes forward, and then you see him jump. And I think that was his way of trying to avoid, because he had tripped, so he was trying to jump and get out, but I think it just made it worse, because he ended up jumping up in the air and just like, with the coming down on the guy like this almost. But as soon as he came down, like he did like a, what's it called? What's it called? Fetal position, and just kind of rolled off him like, oh God, please. Like, don't hurt me, I think is what he was thinking. But yeah, the Sharks just kind of sat there and looked at it. They just saw that it had happened and was like, oh man, that sucks. Bummer. So where are we dropping the puck now? And it's just, guys, there needs to be a response. Like, again, even if it's not intentional, the fact of the matter is your goaltender is down and somebody goes on top of him. You got to grab that guy by the collar and yank him. Now, Aaron, there was something else about the what do you call it? About Forsberg for the rest of the game, and their coach did a certain thing. So why don't you let the folks know what I'm referring to?
Well, the coach on the other team knew he should have gotten it and gotten cross-checked and possibly hurt, because Forsberg didn't play the rest of the game, and not because it was like a dirty play and the coach was mad at him, but he knew there's going to be some retaliation, or at least there should have been some retaliation on Forsberg for doing that. So both teams knew, and the Sharks did nothing about it. So I intentional or not, he put himself in that dangerous position. It's kind of reckless, and it should have been addressed, and it should have been, don't take any liberties against our goalie, because we will take many against you for even thinking about it. So to me, it's like, man, if you touch somebody's goalie, that's almost a free shot to cross-check someone. The referees, unless it's egregious, or you're hitting them up high or something, you hit a guy in the back or on the side or on the arm even, or the legs, like, hey, don't do that. You send the message. The referees usually do not even call that. So it's almost like a free shot, and they didn't take it. And it's just, this team is so bad. They need to be together. If they're not, then it's going to be an even worse season. So I think that is, again, this word that's been around for 3 seasons now, culture, right? The culture needs to change. It's slow, a long, methodical process, but it needs to change. So I think it's been addressed, and I bet they come out mean in the next game.
Yeah, I mean, when the guy gets benched essentially to save him, and that's the other coach that's like anticipating a reaction because they didn't get one. That should tell you exactly what the Sharks should have been thinking when that happened. So yes, we don't think that it was an intentional thing at all. But again, it requires a response. So I don't know. We do have a roll call question here that's pertaining to this, though. So for our roll call, why don't you let us know where you guys are watching from, and let us know if you think that this sort of non-response is going to happen again. And Aaron, you already posed the question to me. I don't think for the rest of the season we're going to see that bit of non-response. But I do want to say, who was it that was sitting right in front of Matt Benning? Matt Benning was the guy that was standing there right in front. Now that he's been getting a little bit of flack for standing there and not doing anything. Now you thought maybe it's because Matt Benning is just too nice, right?
That's not, no.
Could very well be the case. Maybe Matt Benning is just too nice. Now I can attest to that. Again, gave my kids 2 sticks. So Matt Benning, thank you so much. That's my reasoning. I think he didn't want to break his stick over the guy because he already gave them away. He's only got so many, but he doesn't make that much money, right?
Get on with it.
Jersey you're gonna buy is a Matt Benning jersey. By the way, the NHL buy the sticks for the players. The players don't buy their own sticks, which is why they hand them out so freely because they don't care. Which might change under the next CBA agreement. I wouldn't be surprised because teams are cheap.
In any case, yeah. So there you go. There's the roll call question. We'll go ahead and let you guys fill that in. And Aaron, I don't know if you want to take any of these or if you want to further anything else with the clip that we were just talking about here.
Nolan Boyd, hello from Dallas, Oregon. Is that a typo? Is there really a Dallas, Oregon? I didn't know that. I'm sure it will have been like this for 3 seasons now. Kellen Foster, I'm telling you, Wojciech, best Pirate saying in the league, is going to surprise you with his physical play. I wouldn't be surprised as soon as he's up to speed because he is doing a conditioning assignment in the AHL. I would not be surprised if we see him in there. Which Burrows, have you seen some hits that Burrows has been landing? Yep. Oh my God, I love it. I love it. I want to see more of that. And in this play, imagine if Burrows is on the ice and that was Burrows instead of Benning. That guy would have been pummeled.
Probably.
Forsberg probably would have gotten, Burrows probably would have gotten in his face, then someone else would have stepped in for Forsberg because that's one of their best players. So not that Forsberg would have gotten a fight, but he would have at least gotten roughed up a little bit before fighting someone else.
It's funny though, because although I'm also interested in seeing what Wojciech can bring, I think it was Graham who said, I was like, yeah, Wojciech is another guy that we think might be something special. And he is a guy. That was his response to that. So if Graham doesn't think he's worth getting excited over, I don't know. Are we getting excited over nothing?
I'm not expecting a top pairing defenseman here.
No,
but probably another guy in the bottom, kind of like Burrows. Like,
yeah,
maybe can move the puck a little bit better than Burrows.
Hey man,
land some big hits.
Again, I'm not expecting top pairing anything, but my goal for this season is to be entertained while we lose, but to be entertained nonetheless.
I want to see these young guys improve. I want to see improvements week over week, getting better and seeing who's going to stick around as maybe not necessarily a core player like those, like Eklund, but like these outside players, like the ones that are basically competing for a job next season and beyond, right? They got to fight. They got to be hard. So yeah, that's what I'm looking for. Again, it goes back to our first episode, how to watch the Sharks this season, because it's going to be hard. It's going to be tough. It's going to be rough. It's going to be sad. It's going to be depressing. Find the good. Find the light in the darkness that this.
And I think you couldn't have segued it any better, because now we're trying to pull away some positives, Aaron. So what kind of positives can Sharks fans pull out from this gigantic mess that we've laid out before you?
Sharks have not been shut out. As bad as they are at scoring, they have not been shut out. So I guess that's the standard, or the low bar is scoring at least 1 goal a game. So no shutouts, and they've had some home games, or a lot of home games. So no, you've seen a goal at the arena. Be sure to get there on time so you don't miss it. But there's going to be at least 1 goal, almost a guarantee at this point. I think to me, Zadina and Blackwood look to be fantastic additions to the Sharks. Both of them kind of, as you said earlier, reclamation projects in a way. Blackwood was a great goalie 3 years ago, and then the last 2 seasons he's been not very good. So kind of a reclamation project. Zadina, same thing. He came out as a rookie, was a number 6 overall pick, and was playing well for Detroit, and then just kind of tailed off after some injuries. Exact same situation. I think he looks fantastic. I think he looks like he still has a lot of promise. Granted, it's very, very early in the season, but at least it's not like adding. Oh my gosh, I can't even think of the guy who had some what?
Lindblom.
Now Lindblom was a very late round pick.
Sure.
It's not a 6th overall pick that's not performing, right? So expectations are a little bit lower. He had promise and showed like he was playing well early in his career before he had his cancer, but not a player like that, basically. So I think Zadina has some promise, and I like him enough where I would want him to stick around, like be part of that core with the Sharks. But I have a feeling he'll get traded at the deadline. He's on such a team friendly deal, and he's so good. He's only $1.1 million. And he's playing like a $4 or $5 million forward right now. So that's a really good value for a playoff team.
Hertl, 5 points, 5 games. That's
exciting
not bad
to
at
watch,
all.
Right? Exciting to listen to after the games. Give his 1 sentence answer for 5 minutes. I think it's fantastic. He's leading the team, and last season, people are kind of disappointed with him, thinking that he was going to do more than what he did last year. So he's kind of got to be at this point the guy in San Jose. Couture, I think, is kind of tailing off a little bit. Plus, he's been injured, hasn't even gotten into the lineup yet. So Hertl has some big shoes to fill and has to carry the team on his back. And I wouldn't say he's been perfect. He hasn't been dominant, but he's been their most consistent and better or best player so far.
And as you had said earlier, Blackwood is still over 900, which is an oddity for Sharks goaltending in the last few seasons. So, again, a little bit of bright spots here. So for me, again, this is kind of like one of those so far so good as far as how I was kind of thinking the season might go and kind of hoping the season might go. Again, most of the games that we've watched have been at least somewhat entertaining. Even the 3-6 loss to Carolina, we were in that game until we weren't. But it was still fun and entertaining to watch. The Sharks are currently looking like they're going to be the favorite for the highest draft pick, which is, again, very early in the season. But when you haven't won a game in 5 games, I think you're the front runner. And everybody that writes about any of the teams, they all kind of said the same thing too. So, that's kind of where we're expecting to be, and it's exactly where we are. And of course, more sarcastically, Vlasic is certainly helping in that regard. So there you go. Again, for me, the season's going pretty much the way I expected and almost hoped it was going to go, where we're not getting a lot of points, but we're still somewhat entertaining to watch. I'm okay with it. So you don't always have to get wins to enjoy the hockey that you're watching. So there you go. Aaron, we've got some positives laid out there, but we also got a few negatives. Now, these happen to come in the form of specific player names. I'm going to let you go first with your guys. So who's a negative on the team for you?
Mike Hoffman. I was expecting a little bit more out of this guy. More of he's a goal scorer, right? I mean, I wasn't expecting 30 goals out of him, but I would say 20. I was expecting probably 20 goals from him. It's not still out of the question, but the way he's playing right now, absolutely not. He has, where's the stats? In 5 games, he has 1 assist, -1, 2 penalty minutes, and only 8 shots on goal. If you're a shooter, you got to shoot, man. That's barely a shot a game. Come on. You should be getting at least three shots a game. we're talking. Then you're going to be starting to score. So he needs to step up. I think that's been very disappointing for me so far. Probably the most disappointing.
I like Nolan's comment here, but is he? Well done, Nolan. Used to be a goal scorer, says Max Markov. Oh my God. Yeah, again, one of those guys that you were kind of hopeful of, right? A little bit more veteran, and
he's getting paid $4.5 million. Zadina has looked 5 times as better than him, and he's getting paid 4 times less. That's just the way it goes, I guess. But yeah, Max used to be a goal scorer. Yeah, he used to be a goal scorer. Again, I'm not expecting him to blow up the league and dominate, but he was brought in here for a reason, and he's not doing his job.
I had the other name in here was Anthony Duclair. He's not doing much better, buddy. He's got 5 games played as well. Now, he does have a goal, but he has no assists, so they have the same amount of points, 1. Only he's a -4 to Hoffman's -1. He's got 6 penalty minutes to Hoffman's 2, and he's only got 5 shots on goal. That is exactly 1 shot per game, where at least Hoffman is getting a little bit over that. So Duclair not doing a whole lot better. I had high hopes for Duclair as well. The one thing I heard about him was that he was maybe a little bit lazy, but I don't know. I never really watched the guy that closely. I just know who Anthony Duclair was. I'm like, okay, maybe this could be good. So far, I don't know. I've definitely seen him kind of just wandering, coasting around at times, and I really wish he'd keep the feet moving. But I don't know. Do you have any thoughts on Duclair specifically?
I agree. I don't think he's been as great as I wanted him to be, but I think he's been better than Hoffman to me. I think Duclair is still earned his spot in the lineup, whereas I think Hoffman needs to be scratched. I think that he's that bad. At this point, I'd rather have LeBanc in over Hoffman.
Wow.
Which says a lot, right? Wow. I don't know. I feel like even with his defensive woes, I think LeBanc gives you a little bit more of a chance to score some goals than Hoffman right now.
All right. Lightning round real quick. Would you rather have Hoffman or Vlasic in the lineup?
Vlasic.
Oh, wow.
Wait, because I want them to lose. So
look at Nolan says, ouch. I don't know if it was ouch for the answer or ouch for the fact that I asked the question. Anyway, let's look at some of the upcoming games. Now, Aaron, you had brought up that the Sharks have scored in every game. They've not been shut out yet. I'm going to have a guess here that we're going to get shut out in one of these games coming up.
Which one do you think?
Was that?
Which one do you think would be a shutout?
I kind of feel like it could be any of these, frankly. Carolina, I think since we put up 3 goals on Carolina, I think we'll be okay there, although it is in Carolina's barn. But Florida's a very strong team. Tampa Bay is a super strong team. Washington, I don't know. I think, what, you don't think so?
Well, Tampa Bay, Vasilevsky's out for 2 months, so they don't have their top goalie. So they're relying on duct tape in the back. So Florida, they have Bobrovsky, who's hot and cold. Hopefully they get him when he's cold. Carolina, we just saw. Washington is actually terrible this season. I don't know if you've been paying attention, but they have less goals than the Sharks.
What?
Yep.
Oh my God.
Okay. They are the only team worse than the Sharks for goals scored. I mean, the floodgates will probably open against the Sharks and they'll say, hey, welcome back, Washington, to the league. But right now, they are not looking good. They are looking like the Sharks, was it the year after they went to the conference finals where everyone was like, whoa, I didn't think they would crash that hard. That's kind of where Washington's at right now.
We will be Washington's slump buster. Okay.
Probably. That's probably what's going to happen. That's what I mean.
I'm going to guess Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is the game we ruin our no shutout streak. That's what I'm thinking. So, although they may not have Vasilevsky in net, you still got to get past quite a few players to get there.
Yeah. I think it'll be Carolina.
Really?
Well, it's a back-to-back. So it's a scheduled loss going from Tampa Bay to Carolina. That's what I think. I think Carolina is a really good shot. And we're
Counts as Vasilevsky could send his Force Ghost and block at least 10 of the 12 shots SJ gets on net. I love that he says that they're going to get 12 shots on net.
We used to talk about how many points the Sharks are going to get. And now we're talking about who's going to shut out the Sharks.
How the mighty have fallen.
We just stunk.
Yes, we do. Anyway, so the upcoming games, here we go. Tuesday at Florida, Thursday at Tampa Bay, Friday in Carolina, and Sunday in Washington. That happens to be the last game of this road trip. I think it's a 5-game road trip, I should say. So yeah, 4 of them coming up this week, Thursday, Friday, back to back. So yeah, I think it's going to be an ugly road trip. It's kind of been, an ugly season thus far, and it's just going to continue. So Aaron, anything special you want to say about any of these games in particular?
No, it's just a lot of games this week, so it'll be fun. I like the Friday game too, because I think it's an off night, so it's kind of cool. There's less games, so you get a little bit more eyes on it. But yeah.
All right. Fair enough. And I think earlier, Super Producer Jason had messaged somebody directly saying that you'd be seeing this near the end of the show. I'm guessing that person was asking about the set updates. I'm sorry, our set.
Yes.
Updates. And we do have some updates. Aaron, do you want to take this one away? I don't really know any about the pictures and stuff that we've got in store here. So
sure. I'm pretty sure he's got pictures set up for us, but Super Producer Jason went over to my parents' house, and my dad, Todd Sholl, there he is in the picture, is building the new set. So this is a kind of a sneak peek of what it's going to look like. We need 4 panels overall, and right now they finished the 3rd one today. So we're getting pretty close. We got 1 more panel plus another column to go, and then we can actually put these pieces together, and we will have a set, and we will be shooting from somewhere. We're not sure yet where exactly, but we will have our set very soon. So yeah, next Super Producer Jason will be working on the LED strips and soldering, I guess probably next week or maybe at the end of this week. So yeah, a lot of work going into the new set. It's going to look really good, and can't wait to be out of my garage and into someone else's garage for our set.
Someone else's garage. Nice. All right. Yeah, so we're excited about that. Hopefully you guys are as well. We'll probably still continue to do the live shows, but maybe we'll start doing some of the recorded stuff again. For a lot of you guys, the old time members of the show, know that we would do recorded shows, and then we just did the live things as a 15-30 minutes before we actually did the recorded versions. So I'm not sure if the lives are going to go away necessarily, Aaron, but we'll have this set ready to rock hopefully sooner than later. I think. What do you think? Can you have a tentative, hopefully before
coming weeks? Because they put that together. They did 2 panels in 2 days
before Thanksgiving. You think?
I think I'm going to say yes, and then Super Producer Jason will probably yell at me later for committing us to that. But I think so.
Nice. All right. Well, hey, maybe not. Maybe Christmas. Who knows? Quite a gift it would be. In any case, I think that's pretty much the show. Aaron, were there any other little comments you wanted to pull out just before we leave, or any last second thing you wanted to wrap up with any of the games or whatever?
We just stunk.
One more thing that I don't want people to forget is Couture is coming back, and Granlund. That's 2 centers coming back. Oh, look at that. Ryan Sontag. Thank you for the $5. Can't wait to see the new set. Looks like a ton of work is going into it. There is a lot of work going into it. It's been taking a long time, and we apologize for taking so long, but it will be coming back.
We've only been talking about it for 3 years, Aaron. I don't know what you're talking about.
I say 2 seasons ago, we were at my neighbor's house because he had that really awesome garage, and then he moved away last year, so we couldn't use it anymore. It's gone. It got painted over. It was so sad. I took a picture. I was walking by because it's on my street, and the garage door was open, and they had painters come in, and they had painted over everything. So he had one wall was Sharks wall, which is the one that we were recording on. He had another wall that was a 49ers wall, and he had memorabilia everywhere. It was awesome. So I took a picture and I sent it to him. I'm like, oh, it's so sad. It's all gone.
So I think what people just heard is if they live anywhere near you, be careful of the guy with the camera. He's a creeper. He's going to take pictures of your garage. Ryan, once again, dude, thank you so much. Do appreciate the $5. Does go a long way to help support the show. Again, if you guys want to do the same thing Ryan did, you can use the super chat function. Also, again, Venmo at the Fin Factor, or you can go to thefinfactor.com and buy any of the merch if you'd like to get something for your support of the show. But Ryan, again, thank you so much, man. Really do appreciate you. You've been part of the show for several seasons. Definitely a name we recognize. So thank you, buddy.
I'll take Kellen's last comment here. Does Bordeleau get dropped to the Kudo and Couture and Granlund get healthy? I believe so. I think because he's waiver exempt, he's going to need more ice time. Again, he will be the guy down at the Barracuda and getting way more ice time. Both power play and penalty kill really get him ready to come back up. I do think he's going to bounce between, and not just because of injuries, but because of performance. So once he starts playing really well at the Barracuda level, they're probably going to reward him and bring him back up to the Sharks. If there's an injury, obviously he would come back up too, but I think he should go down because he, again, would get more ice time and progress better. Plus, Granlund and Couture plus Hertl, that's really solidifying your centers for at least the top two lines. They're also a lot more defensive responsible than some of the players that are in currently. So I think the Sharks will be getting better once they're back and healthy.
Well, like Lando Calrissian said, I don't like it. I don't agree with it, but I accept it. Absolutely. I think Bordeleau is that guy simply because the no move clause, or I'm sorry, the waiver exemption.
So,
yeah, there you go. Okay, well, I think we've beat this dead horse as repeatedly as we possibly can. The Sharks are not very good, and that's okay. So that's my entire stance on this season, and it will be the same stance next week. So tune in. Hopefully that changes. Who knows? Maybe the Sharks take off and get 4 wins in a row here, and we just totally flip the view of the season. But I don't think that's going to happen. Regardless, again, thank you guys for jumping in the chat, being part of the show. Ryan Sontag, thank you again for supporting the show with the $5 super chat. If you guys can hit that like button, it does help the algorithm. If you're not subscribed, I don't know why you wouldn't, because I mean, obviously awesome, right? So please feel free to hit that subscribe button. Notification bell lets you know when we're going live so that you don't miss the live chat portion of it. And you can be a part of the show. It'd be great. Also, again, be sure to visit thefinfactor.com. Check out all the merch. It does help the show a lot. So there you go. And we're looking forward to seeing you guys before Thanksgiving, before Christmas, maybe, with the new set. So we'll see how that goes.
I was thinking next week.
Next week. Wow. You're definitely going to be getting on the smaller side when Super Producer Jason. There it is. Told you it was going to happen. St. Peter St. John says, same bad channel, same bad time. Oh, now I'm solo. Well done, Super Producer Jason. And on that note, for Super Producer Jason, I'm Paul.
And I'm Aaron.
And we will see you guys
next week on set.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thanks for tuning in. If you like this episode, check out our other content, especially interviews. You can interact with us directly through social media at The Fin Factor and on Instagram at Fin Factor. And don't forget to join our live streams on YouTube.
Visit our website at thefinfactor.com, where you'll find all of our episodes as videos or podcasts. You'll also find our exclusive merchandise to help support our